Okay. Oh. Okay, I hope that we're having a pleasant morning. If you haven't woken up yet, you probably need to. Our guest this morning is a special one for me because I went to his YouTube channel. I was very, very impressed with the information that was shared there. I don't see his face here yet. I know he was there, so I'm going to, yes, there we go. Good morning. I'm going to put it on speaker view. So as I'm sharing, we have to just remember to mute everybody. That's the important thing here. Good morning, Mr. Walt.
How morning, y'all.
How you doing this morning?
Great.
You're great. Awesome. Are you an early bird?
I'm usually to work pretty early.
Okay. All right. So awesome. So then missionaries are usually early birds.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we are. Hey, early and late birds, unfortunately, sometimes. But I'm so happy to have you here. Let me just formally introduce you to our audience. We are something better. I am in the Bahamas. We have never officially met, but we're meeting this morning on this platform. But Michelle Blackwood from Healthier Steps was the one that introduced me to you. Good. And she's also here this morning. I know that you were a part of the Heartland community when she was there.
Yes.
Well, Walt Cross lives in the Smoky Mountains of Eastern Tennessee, where he and his family serve their community with a small ministry, Appalachian Ministries. Through their health food store, they are able to provide lifestyle education in the local public school system, businesses, churches, and on a one-on-one basis. Walt's formal education was in conventional healthcare administration and worked in the field for that majority of his career. Walt accepted an invitation to work as a director at an international lifestyle center in the Washington, D.C. market, where the method of addressing health concerns took a much more proactive approach in looking for and addressing root causes. Amen. I love it. He has found this proactive approach to addressing health concerns to be a much more effective way for addressing chronic diseases. Walt routinely speaks around the country and abroad on the physiological benefits, lifestyle health. In addition to that, when at home, he serves his local community as the volunteer fire chief. When do you find time? A passion which he has had since his early days in college. Listen, I'm so happy to have you here this morning, and we welcome you. The Bahamians welcome you. Our Australians welcome you. The Africans welcome you. Michelle, remember to share with our African friends that we're on. So you have the floor now. I've made you co-host, and you can go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, good morning, y'all. Welcome from the Smoky Mountains. This morning we're going to talk about the Old Mountain remedies, the kitchen medicine, and some of the basic things which we have. And y'all are very fortunate there in the Caribbean because you have so many plants that are so medicinal. And if you don't know about those, then I encourage you to find someone that's older and ask them, because we're losing that art. We're losing the art of the old remedies that our great-grandparents had, our great-great-grandparents had. And if you live near someone who's older, that's a little wiser, that's been around a little longer, ask them what's in your area. Because as we look at health problems, if we're going to address them naturally, a lot of times we cannot, especially y'all, which you may have challenges getting some things at times from other parts of the world. We got to use what God has put in our hands. And so I encourage you to use what's in your hand. Well, let's jump into it. Let's see if I can share screen. All right, let's see here. Do y'all see that okay? Do y'all see this okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I muted because I didn't want.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, good. All right. So let's look, and we're gonna go speedy ditty. We're gonna go through these fast. I like working with wounds. Do y'all see much wounds in your country?
Yes.
Yes.
Too
And
many.
what are those wounds usually from?
Diabetes.
Yes, diabetes. Well, this foot is actually from the Caribbean, and that is diabetes. And this guy has diabetic neuropathy. He also has osteomyelitis. This is his endocrinologist called me, said, Walt, we're getting ready to amputate this foot. Can we save it? So this is, he's from Barbados, and this is what it looked like. This is 2 weeks later, and this is within 4 weeks, and it's ready for a graft. And basically what we did is when you have a wound, something very, very important is you've got to have adequate nutrition. You have to have adequate nutrition in everything. You need a nutrition dense diet. And probably one of the best diets I have found is by juicing. Juicing doesn't take a lot of energy from digestion, and therefore you net more energy from it. And if you're only juicing, then you're just getting copious amounts of good nutrients, and you're not getting simple processed foods. You're not getting calorie dense food. And there's a difference. You got nutrition dense food, which has your nutrients in it. You have calorie dense food, means you just have a bunch of calories like your processed foods. So what we did is we juiced him, and we juiced him for 30 days, 16 ounces of vegetable juice 3 times a day. Also, because he has osteomyelitis, we gave him a very strong garlic by mouth systemically. Then we did hydrotherapy, and hydrotherapy is amazing. It's an amazing tool that you'll find that works well. And you can't do hot and cold on a wound like this. You'll injure it. You've got to do warm and cool. And there's some folks say, Walt, you cannot do hydrotherapy on this foot. Well, yes, you can. Just don't go over 100 degrees on the warm side. Don't go under 70 degrees on the cool side. And so we're going 3 minutes hot, warm. We're going 1 minute cool, 3 minutes warm, 1 minute cool, 7 times. And what you have here is you have vasoconstriction, vasodilation, vasoconstriction, vasodilation, vasoconstriction, vasodilation. So as you have warm water, you have vasodilation. As you have cool water, you have vasoconstriction. And so what that's doing is that you put like an inline pump by using hydrotherapy, and it's increasing the blood flow. Also, because of the osteomyelitis, we sprayed the area with the strong garlics called allicin. We use a product called Alimed, which is out of England, which is super, super powerful. It takes 24 cloves of garlic to make 1 drop. So it's very powerful. And then we put a salve in there, which was frankincense, Goldenseal, myrrh, pine sap. And if you have bee pollen, you can put bee pollen in it, or bee propolis, shall I say, bee propolis, and then some aloe vera gel. Mix it thoroughly, and you just want to paint it on there. You don't want to pack it like we used to do with betadine brown sugar. You just want you want the consistency as you put in the aloe vera gel. You want the consistency of about pancake batter, and you just kind of carefully put that on there, daub it, paint it, whatever. And then because there's an infection, we put a charcoal poultice on there, and we do that twice a day. And now, don't forget the most important part. What's the most important part? Prayer. God does the healing. This is 2 weeks later. We start having some decent closure there in the heel. We're starting to fill out there in the foot. And then we have total filling out, total closure in the heel, and it's ready for a graft. And not only did we, in that 30 days, heal the foot, not only did we heal the wound, not only did the osteomyelitis go away and was healed, but also his diabetes also went away. And diabetes is easy to reverse. Diabetes, we see around over a 98% reversal rate. Where I first worked for my first 20 years in healthcare, 0. We didn't reverse the diabetes because we did not get the root cause. So you want to clean the wound, hydrotherapy, warm and cool, 7 times, twice a day, Goldenseal, myrrh, aloe vera, pine sap, pine oil. If you don't have pine sap, bee propolis, Honey, you can put honey in a wound. Honey works well if you don't have those other items. Then when you want a poultice, a charcoal poultice, a cabbage poultice. But one key as we look at wound care is you cannot use tobacco. Tobacco is a vasoconstrictor. It slows down the perfusion of blood. Also, it messes with your oxygenation. You cannot use tobacco products. Also have good nutrition. Pine sap. Do y'all have pine trees there? Good. All right. Pine sap is amazing. You can put it in wounds, gum disease, put it up in your gums, mouth sores, immune system, builds the immune system. If you take just a little piece about the size of a match head every day and chew on that, increases it. I use it. We've had 5 grandchildren, and we've used it for every one of those for cutting teeth. And so we'll put the pine sap on their gums and cutting teeth. You can use it for pain, headaches. Pine sap's powerful. Activated charcoal. Do y'all use charcoal there?
Yes.
That's what it looks like. Kind of looks like, volcanic rock. Very, very powerful. Activated charcoal is even stronger than regular charcoal. There's nothing in the world that's better, I believe, than charcoal for food poisoning. Just put a teaspoon in a glass of water, stir it, drink it, boom, food poisoning is gone. It's amazing. Indigestion, acid reflux, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. It's a great detox. You can use it for a foot bath for gout. You can use we'll talk about it in just a moment, but here's a key. When using internally, do not use within 2 hours before or after medications. This is an example I use. If I have a young girl come in, she's childbearing age, and she's on birth control. If she uses activated charcoal within 2 hours, either side of that birth control pill is not working tonight. And so you want to make sure if you're on, a medication for blood pressure, medication for your diabetes, do not use activated charcoal within 2 hours either side. That's why we use it in the emergency room for overdoses. We use it on the ambulances for overdoses. Works very, very well. Charcoal poultice. Anybody ever use a charcoal poultice?
Yes.
They're tremendous. What you do, you take your charcoal, you can mix it with either ground flaxseed, ground oatmeal, psyllium seed powder. My favorite is psyllium seed powder. For charcoal to adsorb, it doesn't absorb, it adsorbs, and so it doesn't soak within, it just clings to it, and that's adsorb. It has to be moist, it has to be wet. And so you can take charcoal and just pour water on it and put it on an area quickly if you don't have these other items on an acute situation. But you're going to have to keep rehydrating that charcoal. If you don't, it quits drawing. So we can mix it with ground flaxseed, ground oatmeal. My favorite is psyllium seed powder. 1 part charcoal, 1 part psyllium. Mix it very well. You've got black, you've got tan. You've got to mix it till it's gray. If you don't, the tan will congeal. And then the black, the charcoal, is just powder. It's not going to do its job properly. So you take 1 part charcoal, 1 part psyllium powder, mix it thoroughly, add 6 parts water, 6 parts water. I take in a piece of saran wrap or plastic wrap or Walmart bag, whatever, garbage bag, and put it in between, roll it out about 1/4 inch thick. The extra you can roll up, store it in the refrigerator. It'll last about a week, a little more. If you want to last long-term, put it in a Ziploc baggie and put it in the freezer, and then it will last longer. Why does it last so short in the refrigerator? Remember grandma's bread, it would mold if you didn't eat it fast enough. Well, because of it doesn't have preservatives in it. Well, the psyllium doesn't have preservatives, and it will start to mold after about a week. So if you've made too much and you're afraid it's going to go bad, cut off what you need, put the rest in a Ziploc baggie, put it in the freezer, and it will last months, years, whatever. Here's a key, very important. If using over an open wound, place a barrier, wet paper towel, cloth between the wound and the poultice. It has a propensity to tattoo. Less propensity with the psyllium, but it still has a propensity. Now, different parts of the world, we have different supplies. When I go to Africa, they don't have saran wrap in places I go there. And so when I went to Venezuela, no saran wrap there. So what they'll use is they'll use just a white sheet and or a cloth, and they'll put the charcoal in the cloth, and then they actually use it over and over and over again. Here in America, we think, oh no, we got infection, we got to throw it away. Well, you use what you have, y'all. And if you don't have those supplies, you clean it well, and then you use it again. Infected wounds, stings, bites, inflammation, excellent for gout, pain, cancer. I went to Michigan and we used it that's where I learned to use it for breast cancer, lung cancer. Eye infections, great to put over an eye infection. Dental infections, you can cut you a little piece, like the little digit right here, stick it in your mouth like a piece of tobacco, and it will pull that infection right out. Spider bites, tremendous. Brown recluse bites, black widow bites, snake bite, very good for pulling that poison out. Let's see here. Let me go past these guys and jump in some other stuff. This is the Allison. Allison is the Allimed. It's very good for MRSA, also vancomycin resistant Staph aureus. Let me read this. Allicin is an active ingredient of garlic that has antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and antiprotozoal activity. Allicin exhibits various biological properties like antimicrobial, anti-cancer, antioxidant, immunomodulatory, anti-inflammatory, hypoglycemic, and cardiovascular effects. And allicin is you have some allicin in garlic, but it's very strong you have some in onions, but a lot of it in garlic. When you mix two compounds together, components together in the garlic, it makes allicin. That's why you crush your garlic before you eat it. It makes allicin. But it's extremely powerful when you have those issues of bacterial infections, viral infections, fungal infections, and one item that God gave us can kill those guys very, very effectively. We use it for viral infection, bacterial infections. It will lower cholesterol, the common cold, dysentery, E. coli, salmonella, heartburn, or acid reflux. They now recommend one teaspoon twice a day, or 3 capsules twice a day. And they found that it prevents cardiac sclerosis, upset stomach, irritable bowel syndrome. H. pylori works very well for H. pylori. Over 50% of the world population has H. pylori. C. difficile, diverticulitis, parasites, flukes, pseudomonas, just a lot of things that folks are using allicin for. Got a contact bothering me here. Sorry, y'all. If we want to build the immune system, and this is very, very important, you can do everything. You can do the allicin, you can do the vitamin C, you can do the elderberry, but there's 3 things that will take out your immune system. You can have a vitamin D of over 200, and you still take out your immune system. And those items are sugar, lack of sleep, and stress. Just one 12-ounce soft drink will take out your immune system 50% for 4 hours. One 12-ounce soft drink will take out your immune system 50% for 4 hours. Now, just add a small little candy bar, not the big ones today, but the ones like when we were little kids, like a little Snickers bar or like 2 Reese's cups, plus that 12-ounce soft drink. And now for the next 4 hours, you just anesthetize 13 out of 14 white cells. Only one's working. If you have a milkshake, average size milkshake, just one slice of cheesecake, it's going to wipe out your immune system 92 to 93% for the next 4 hours. 92 to 93% for the next 4 hours. Sleep deprivation, same thing, wipes out your immune system. Stress, just 1 minute of stress, 1 minute of anger, research shows wipes out your immune system significantly for 6 hours. 6 hours. Also on the immune system, check your vitamin D. Lab work says that we should have a vitamin D level 30 to 100. That is not correct. You want a vitamin D for brain function at least 60. And if you want a good immune system, you want it at least 80. It's not how much vitamin D you take a day. It's what is your blood level? And you want that vitamin D level 80 to 100. Good nutrition, exercise. Yes, universal precautions. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Garlic, allicin, podiarco is a great herb. I don't know if y'all have podiarco. Do y'all have the podiarco there?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
I use podiarco a lot. It's my favorite to start with cancer. I use it for thrush. I use it for, it's amazing for thrush. Calendula. Do y'all have calendula there? Also very good for thrush. But podiarco, excellent for prostate problems. It will shrink the prostate very, very well. Along with, do y'all have black seed there?
Black seed oil?
Yes.
We can get all of them.
Okay. Now, ladies from the Caribbean who, when they come to America, they'll buy black seed oil from me to put in their hair, because black seed oil is very good for women's hair. The black ladies, it just works better. Now, for the white women, the ladies who are more of the Indian, like American Indian, they'll use like coconut oil, but the black lady's hair works very, very well with black seed oil. Just makes it makes pretty. But also black seed oil, I use it for prostate, a teaspoon twice a day. Red clover, echinacea, goldenseal, elderberry, vitamin C. And also always remember, when using vitamin C only has a half-life of 30 minutes. So you want to use it multiple times a day to get that full effect, not just taking 2,000 milligrams at once. You've got a half-life of 30 minutes. Olive leaf extract, very strong, excellent for shingles and issues. Oil of oregano is amazing. Do y'all use oil of oregano there?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, it's like your 44 Magnum if a bear is coming up on you. I'll just take a couple. I have it in my fire turnouts. I have it on, Mary Lou has it on her side of the bed. I've got it on my side of the bed at home, so we don't wake each other up. I've got it in the office. I've got it in the car, the truck. If you start to feel something in the incipient stage, if you start to feel your nose, your throat, your head, you feel like you're catching sick, take 3 to 10 drops of oil of oregano. It will knock it out. If it's not gone in 2 hours, do it again, and you usually gets it. But do not use 100% oil of oregano by mouth. You want to mix it at least 1 part oil of oregano and 3 parts olive oil, because it's just too hot. It's going to burn your mouth, burn your esophagus, burn your stomach. And so you'll mix that together. 25% oil of oregano, 75% olive oil. Boils. Boils are painful. I use, if you have a skin disorders are blood disorders, unless, yes, there's poison ivy and poison oak and things like that. But for the most part, skin disorders are blood problems. And you want to use a good blood purifier. Chaparral, burdock, red clover. Do y'all have poke there? P-O-K-E.
We don't grow it here. I actually have some in my refrigerator.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that anyone has ever heard of it here.
Okay,
like
poke root is powerful, but be careful. Poke is poisonous.
Yes.
And so you need to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, or you're going to be taking poison. And but poke is an excellent blood purifier. Put a charcoal poultice on that boil, and when let's say you put the charcoal poultice on there, usually within 15 minutes, the pain significantly goes down. If the pain starts coming back, that means the charcoal poultice has drawn all of it can. And so just take it, throw it in the trash, put another poultice back on, and boom, the pain goes back down. Amazing. Allicin's good, nutrition, water. Insomnia is a big issue. And that's probably one of the biggest issues I work with today. Herbs that you can use: valerian, skullcat, hops, passion flower, wild lettuce, chamomile, a lot of herbs that you can use. Probably the most powerful thing is when 9/11 came, our patients out of New York City, our patients out of Washington, D.C., we used 2 tablespoons of valerian, 2 tablespoons of hops, 2 tablespoons of skullcap, all powderized, and 2 cups of water, made an infusion, and it didn't work. We did it at 6 and 8 o'clock. It didn't work. We did it 4, 6, and 8. It didn't work. It took us doing 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock, and we knocked them out. And normally just 1 dose will work, but that's the only thing we could find to knock these guys out. They were so.
Would you give that formula again, even though you're on YouTube? Let me tell
Yes.
you why. There's a lady that came into my store just last 2 days ago, a couple of days ago. She said, I can't sleep. I have menopause. I can't sleep. She said, I've been to Wildwood. They've done everything. I can't sleep. So we need that formula.
Yes. Yes. Again, look at root cause. Is it hormones? Stabilize those hormones. But yes, 2 tablespoons of valerian, 2 tablespoons of hops, and 2 tablespoons of skullcap. Those are all powder. And you do that full dose. And so what you do is you do it at, say, 8 o'clock. If that doesn't do it, you do 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. If that doesn't do it, you do 4, 6, 8. If that doesn't do it, 2, 4, 6. I've never seen anybody that we didn't do more, they had to do more than the 2, 4, 6, 8. Very powerful. Magnesium works quite well for folks. For some people to go to bowel tolerance, magnesium will give you a loose stool. Magnesium oil. I rub magnesium oil on the bottom of my feet, puts me to sleep. Also, magnesium oil is very good for cardiac issues, muscle issues. 75% of muscle issues, muscle pain, muscle issues is due to deficiency in magnesium. Number 1, I look at magnesium. Number 2, I look at dehydration. Number 3, I look at potassium. Number 4, I look at iron. And iron is on an increase where I live, iron deficiency. But magnesium, why do we not have enough magnesium? Stress is the number 1 diagnosis in America. And what happens is stress dumps magnesium. And so that buffers the cells from the harmful effects of the adrenaline. So a lot of people are magnesium deficient. Possibly 85% of the American population is magnesium deficiency because of stress and other issues. There's a number of issues from soil erosion, from processed foods, from hybrid seeds, a lot of reasons. But it's great for rubbing on the heart, for cardiovascular issues, for strengthening heart failure patients, for patients with angina. Magnesium oil is very good. Chamomile. Another thing, if you're having problems sleeping at night, don't even eat supper. Because what happens is food has a propensity to putrefy and ferment, turns to poison, and that can mess with sleep. And so just don't eat supper. If you do, drink a V8 juice, eat something light, eat a mango, eat something light, eat an avocado. Tryptophan helps. B complex helps calm a person down. Don't take it before going to bed. Some people it will kind of wake them up a little bit, but use it a little bit earlier to help with stress. Sunshine takes the tryptophan, turns it into serotonin. And then by not eating that light supper, going to bed, then the serotonin's turning into melatonin. There's a product out there that's working quite well. It's called Tranquil Sleep. Tranquil Sleep. And I find melatonin doesn't work for a lot of people by itself. It actually can increase dream activity, and actually can increase nightmares. But I find when it's put together in Tranquil Sleep, it's got L-theanine, and sometimes people just use L-theanine on its own. It has melatonin, and it has 5-HTP, which is similar to your tryptophan. Works quite well. Okay, we're at 6:31. What's my schedule?
You can keep going. You can go.
Okay, you let me know. Okay, stress. Stress is huge. For stress, you've got to look at your 8 laws of health. Have you covered the 8 laws of health before?
We're covering them week by week. We're covering them week by week. We're going.
The 8 laws of health, that is the key to health, y'all. There's 8 laws: nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance. Temperance is making the right decisions. Then your fresh air, but also diaphragmatic breathing, get you rest, and most important, trust in God. That's the basis of health. That is the basis. Now, let me tell you, you can't just say, well, I'm going to eat good nutrition, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to drink water, and I'm going to do the 8 laws of health, but you have a wound come in like that foot, you've got to be more aggressive. And so, yes, those 8 laws are the foundation, but sometimes we have to drill deeper within that with hydrotherapy, with more herbs and things like that. Make sure that you get your sleep at night. We know that the hours before midnight are worth twice the sleep after midnight. Harvard University has found that the adult brain needs to be asleep by 9 o'clock for the glymphatic system to work. Nutrition's important. Water's important. Proper hydration. And when you drink water, if your University of California at Davis says it takes a half a gallon of water to meet the needs of a 5-year-old, but we're bigger than we were at 5 years old. So from 5 years old up to 128 pounds, it's a half a gallon or 4 water bottles. But if you're over the 128 pounds, it's body weight divided by 2. But the problem is a lot of folks will chug water. Oh, I haven't drank water in a while, and they just chug it. Well, that's a problem because you have something called free flow. Anything over 3 to 4 ounces, 3 to 4 ounces of water at a given time or liquid at any given time goes into the free flow, and you just urinate that off. And so you want to keep that below that 3 to 4 ounces. So just take a swig of water, just as you did, and do that, say 4 times every half hour. You'll keep well hydrated, but don't do it within 15 minutes of eating a meal, during the meal, to an hour after the meal. That will affect digestion. Exercise is huge. And it's not just exercise 3 times a week. It's not even once a day. Duke University found exercise for the human body to get the best benefit, whether it's weight loss, whether it's cardiovascular disease, it needs to be 4 times a day. And this is really cool. We found that when our patients would come in the mornings with diabetes, and I would be there at 6 o'clock, and they come in and they'd have a glucose of, say, 180, 190. I'd send them for a 30-minute power walk. They come back, the glucose would be 120s, maybe 130s. And I mentioned this to a friend of mine at Loma Linda Medical School. And I saw him 2 years later. He says, Walt, remember what you told me 2 years ago? He said, we did a study on this, and we found that just a 20-minute power walk, listen to this, y'all, a 20-minute power walk lowers the blood sugar more than 1 shot of insulin. So this guy was a genius. His name was Dr. Walter Kempner at Duke University. He found if we just walk 4 times a day, it stabilizes the blood sugar. It helps the heart work better. It helps with digestion. Stroll after your meals. Exercise multiple times a day, not just once, is very, very important. Trusting God, that's the power to everything, y'all. Flaxseed is good for stress because it has tryptophan. Tryptophan is going to turn into serotonin if you get sunshine and if you don't have sunglasses on, because sunglasses block the UV, and you won't then convert the pineal gland won't convert the tryptophan to serotonin. I like kava. Kava works better than the valerian, skullcap, hops, passion flower, all those herbs, because those guys make you sleepy for helping sleep. But if it's in the daytime, people got to work. I believe in working. And so kava doesn't make you as sleepy. Again, yes, chamomile, hops, skullcap, valerian, those guys are great. But if you got to work, use those at night, use something else during the daytime. B complex. Back in 1978, I was at Florida Hospital in Orlando. An old doc told me, he said, Walt, if you want to help your patients with stress, the best thing I've ever found was B complex. And I found he was very true. Lithium orotate, another great tool for stress. Magnesium, another great tool for stress. Trace minerals, also tremendous for helping with stress. So you got fats, proteins, complex carbohydrates. Vitamins are the catalyst that kicks on fats, proteins, and complex carbohydrates. But minerals are the catalysts that turn on the vitamins. So your vitamins aren't going to do your job. Your fats, proteins, and complex carbohydrates aren't going to do your job if you don't have the minerals as a catalyst to kick on the vitamins, then to kick on the other guys. So minerals are very, very important to get the most out of your nutrients. Classical music, great way to help with stress. Bleeding, in addition to direct pressure and elevation, cayenne pepper works very well to put on any kind of bleeding. Comfrey root or leaf, European goldenrod, shaved grass, and if you're into essential oils, helichrysum is good to put on bleeding. It's expensive, but if you don't have anything, it's better than bleeding to death. Pour some helichrysum on it, and that will stop the bleeding. But I like cayenne. Cayenne's very cheap. Pour that on there, it will stop the bleeding. Actually, the stop the bleed products that the military uses has cayenne in it to stop the bleed from gunshot wounds or when the limbs are blown up with bombs. Bleeding, fibroids, yarrow, red raspberry, shepherd's purse, lady's mantle, and crane's bill. I personally like shepherd's purse the best. It is tremendously effective in stopping either you get some ladies who may go a month, 2 months, bleeding from their cycle. This will stop it. In one day, it will stop the bleeding. Now, one lady one time wanted us to give her something to stop her cycle because she wanted to go on vacation or whatever. No, you don't mess with that cycle. That cycle, whatever that normal cycle is, God sets, y'all are very, y'all's hormones are very delicate. Don't go messing with them. This is in the case that it's going and it's not stopping. A nosebleed, raise your arms above the head, cayenne dissolved in water, squirt that up in your nose, hot water. Or actually, you can put it in cold water. I think I'd like. You can use hot water, cold water. Cold water is a more vasoconstrictor, actually. Extract of witch hazel. They taught us in school to take crushed ice, put it up under the lip, and that will help stop the nosebleed. Don't go sticking things up in your nose to stop it. That's not the best way to do it. Bleeding ulcers. Cayenne pepper is amazing. If you got a bleeding ulcer in your stomach, if you have ulcerative colitis, take 2 capsules of cayenne and PRN. It works very well to stop it. You can start with 1/4 of a teaspoon 3 times a day, work up to 1 teaspoon 3 times a day. Or you can, if you do 2 capsules is equal to 2/3 of a teaspoon. Just see what your body can handle. But be careful. Be careful. Cayenne could be 20,000 HUs, or it could be Carolina Reaper at 2.1 million HUs. So be careful. There's some hot cayenne out there. Not all cayenne is equal. Burns. You've got different types of burns. You have heat burns, cold temperature burns, electrical burns, chemical burns, radiation burns, friction burns, various kinds of burns. But how do we treat them? I won't go into the degrees of burns this morning, but what do? You cool the burn. We're told in medical books that burns continue burning for 12 hours. That's why a person who's out in the sun, getting sunshine, and then at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, they're cooking. It's because it just kept burning. It kept going deeper and deeper and deeper and burning them. The first thing, cool that burn. Place it in cool running water until the pain stops. It says 10 to 15 minutes. I like it till the pain stops. Pain comes back, put it under the cool water. If you place underwater, if you can't place underwater, you can use cool compresses, but do not put ice on the burn. Do not put ice on the burn. Lavender essential oil is probably one of the best things to put on a burn. Works very, very well. Aloe vera, grated potato. You can grate a potato, put it on there. Works extremely well. When the potato gets hot, take it off, put another one on. Burdock, comfrey. For sunburns, I like using vinegar. You can put vinegar on there, and in a washcloth, that washcloth will get hot. You just keep cooling it with, putting it in the vinegar. That bowl will eventually get hot, the water. Get another bowl, put that one in the freezer, and then put this one back and use that, and that will pull that heat right out. When it stops burning, put aloe vera on it. When it starts burning again, start using the vinegar again. But try out lavender on sunburns. Works very, very well. Colloidal silver. What do we think of, those of us in healthcare? Silvadene. Silvadene is a drug that we've used many, many years. I remember I worked a house fire back, 35, 36 years ago. And it burnt the back of my neck, and some tar dripping off the roof. I had scars for years. I went into work. They put colloidal silver on me. Calendula, or highfalutin folks say calendula. Chickweed, bee propolis, goldenseal, marshmallow root. And that's not the marshmallows that you eat in the grocery store. That's marshmallow root, the herb. Cover the burn with a sterile dressing. Use something for pain, wild lettuce. If you want to use a good painkiller, wild lettuce tea is the best thing I have found. You make an infusion, take a quart of water, bring it to a boil, turn it off, add a cup of wild lettuce. And then if you can add a cup of skullcap. It works even better. Let it sit at least 30 minutes to overnight. And then you can strain it off. And then you strain off a cup every 2 hours. It works for bone cancer. And bone cancer is the most challenging cancer that I've dealt with. California poppy, Jamaican dogwood from the Caribbean. Those are some. And then another one is called Curamin. Curamin is a great product by Terry Naturally. You can do 1 tablet to as many as three times a day. A very, very good painkiller, Curamin by Terry Naturally. Watch for signs of infections. Again, do not use ice on directly. And be careful with ointments. Some ointments can keep the heat in. And don't break the blisters. Infection, but also pain. It just hurts a lot more when you break the blisters. But the biggest thing you're looking for there is not getting infected. Elevate the burn, the parts of the body above the heart, cover the burned area with cool, moist, sterile, dry dressings, cloths, or towels. Oral care, mouth sores. Mouth sores many times are digestive problems. Investigate for digestive problems. It could be something going on in the stomach, could be something in the intestines. So see if you can find root cause. Again, the key is get to root cause, remove root cause, and the problem goes away. Let me share something with you. If you didn't hear anything I heard today, I learned this from a surgeon years ago to address health problems. Number one, identify the organ or system that's being affected. Let's say stress is the issue. So identify the organ or system that's affected. What's the organ or system? It's the brain. Next, identify the organs or systems that may affect the primary organ or system. So what other organs or systems can affect brain function? How about digestion? Can digestion affect brain function? Absolutely. So now you've identified the primary organ or system of the problem. Now you've identified the secondary organs or systems that could exacerbate or cause problems. Now what you have to do is take away anything that may harm any of those organs or systems. Could be lack of sleep, could be sugar, could be dehydration. It could be eating between meals. All that can affect negatively the organ or systems that we just identified, both primary and secondary. Then you have to provide the primary and secondary organs and systems with what they need to work properly. And so again, with stress, what does the brain need to work well? What does the digestive system need to work well? If you address those items, many times the disease or the problem will go away. So if you have a or mouth sore issue, look for digestive issues. Many times it'll go away. Pine sap is great. Aloe vera, Goldenseal, myrrh gum powder, bee propolis, activated charcoal. Sometimes just putting some salt water in there, put some salt on it. It's very good for mouth sores. Gum disease. This works extremely well. Take a teaspoon of Goldenseal powder, a teaspoon of myrrh powder, and make an infusion out of it with a cup of water. And then don't strain it, but have them swish their mouth very, very well up into their gums 4 times a day and swallow. It's amazing what it will do for gum disease. Pine sap also, put pine sap in between times, works well. Bee propolis, black walnut, barberry, calendula, comfrey. All of those are very good for gum disease. Toothaches. Clove oil is the most popular. Clove oil works very well. Be careful not to put it on your tongue. It'll make your tongue numb too. Charcoal poultice, tablet, Goldenseal, myrrh gum powder, horsetail. Those are great to make as a tea. Pine sap, calendula, chamomile, ginger, caraway. You can also do oil pulling. That can help with the toothache. Also, salt water chemically can affect the nerves to where it just affects the nerve function, and it can prevent that toothache some by using a salt water swish. Mm-hmm. Strep throat, guys, this works. This is amazing. My favorite is Goldenseal. Take a teaspoon of Goldenseal to a cup of water, make an infusion, and take and gargle it for 2 minutes and swallow every 2 hours. Strep throat is normally gone within 24, no more than 48 hours. Very, very powerful. Colloidal silver, allicin, they work also. Also, you can do hydrotherapy where you put a ice cold wrap around your throat that can help increase because that brings added blood flow. But the Goldenseal is phenomenal for killing strep throat. Sore throats, lemon and honey, aloe vera, Goldenseal, bee propolis, salt water, colloidal silver, hydrotherapy. My favorite for sore throat is, do y'all have elm trees down there?
I don't think so.
Okay, you've heard of slippery elm.
Yes, I use the slippery elm, but
Yes,
I don't think we have that tree.
I figured you didn't. That's the inner bark of the elm tree. Very, very good. It's my favorite for a sore throat. Take a teaspoon, put it in your water bottle, shake it up. As you're sipping on your water, it's treating that sore throat.
It's my favorite for stomach too.
Oh yeah, tremendous for stomach problems. Tremendous. Also, I use it for ulcerative colitis, for Crohn's. Yes. Very, very good for healing that integumentary system tissue.
We'll just go. I would like to open the floor for questions. So I don't know.
Let's do it.
I have some questions that came in from Africa. You see me on my phone. So I'm going to let you finish that page and then we'll.
Okay.
And then we'll take some questions. I know people would like to ask.
Sure. So the lemon and honey, the aloe vera, the Goldenseal, the propolis, the salt water, the colloidal silver, and the hydrotherapy. That will finish that. Let's see if I can stop share. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's go to questions. What part of Africa?
Someone says they wish they could commit all this information to memory. Okay, let's go to the YouTube.
What part of Africa are they?
Yes. So we have persons in Africa watching. Hold on. Let's go back. I got 2 questions coming in. I have several questions from Africa. This one is coming from Angelique. And she didn't say where she's from, but we have persons in Rwanda. Rwanda?
Good. Yeah, I've done a lot with Rwanda. I've been to Rwanda several times.
Oh, I want to go the next time. Hallelujah. Let's do this. Okay, so she says, my sister has cancer, breast cancer. What can she do? Yes, Angelique? I don't know. Yeah, she says, my sister has cancer of the breast. That's why.
I think number one importance, when you have such acuity, all the time, this is important, but when you have such acuity, one of the challenges with cancer is it humbles you very quickly to know that you are not doing it. God is doing it. And you can have 2 identical cancers. You can have 2 identical protocols and have 2 different outcomes. Why is there 2 different outcomes? We don't know. God knows. We're like a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old keeps saying, why? And you go, there's some things you just can't tell them because they're not old enough, because they won't understand. You just have to say, grandchild, trust me, or child, trust me. God is the same way. He says, just trust me. I'll tell you about it when you get up to heaven. Yeah. And so that's huge. So the biggest thing is, do we accept Christ as a Savior every day? Are we spending time with him? If we've done something wrong and we've asked for forgiveness, and as we read our Bible, as we pray, if we're impressed, if it says to do it, do it. If it says don't do it, don't do it. If God says don't do it, don't do it. That's the most important part here. Develop that relationship on that critical time of life. But yes, there are some things. Juicing is my favorite. Juicing is phenomenal for cancer. You can do the Gershon Clinic process where you're doing 8 ounces every hour in the hour for 12 to 13 hours. You're looking at 96 to 104 ounces a day. So the juicing is very, very powerful. You've got hydrotherapy. You've got the fever treatments, which will increase the white cells 7-fold. You've got the saunas that can increase white cell count. You've got vitamin C treatments. You've got hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is amazing, but do not use hydrogen peroxide in the grocery store. It's poisonous. You've got to do food grade hydrogen peroxide 35%. And there's a process to that. And get up to about 50 drops 3 times a day. Stay there for the duration of the cancer and come back down. Hydrogen peroxide is amazing. And what I tell people, look at these items. I will send you an email that has some things that we do. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, just pray. Ask God what they need to do. And what the Holy Spirit says for them to do those items. Amen. Amen. God knows the protocol, but there's a lot of things you can do. Far infrared is very, very good for cancer. I'm seeing amazing with far infrared, what it does for the body. Vitamin D, what's their blood level of vitamin D? Docs are moving the vitamin D level up to 205 for cancer. You can use MSM and vitamin C, where you use MSM to open the cell. 30 minutes later, then you give the high doses of vitamin C. You can do the IV vitamin C. There's a lot of things that we can do. And then don't forget the herbs, the Padiarco, the chaparral, the red clover. Now, if it's breast cancer, don't use red clover. because the estrogen, you've got burdock root, you've got calendula. There's a lot of herbs, poke, that we use for breast cancer. And then the poultices that we use, the castor oil packs, the charcoal poultices, and then the herbal poultices themselves. If I'm doing a poke root poultice, I'll take the poke root about the size of my thumb, and then I'll do a decoction where you simmer it for 20 minutes, throw that tea away. Do another quart, simmer it for 20 minutes, throw that tea away. The third tea that you do a decoction on a poke, you can drink that throughout the day. Then I take the root, shave it, and then I'll add a little psyllium powder to it, a little bit of poke tea, and I'll make a poultice to put on the breast and do symmetrical. If it's just one breast, do both breasts as you do the poulticing.
Would you say the same treatment for cancer of the stomach? We have someone in Rwanda, Rumazi. She says, my mother has stomach of the cancer of the stomach, sorry.
Yes, I would do the same thing. And I asked a good buddy of mine one time, he was a surgeon, and I said, when you treat cancer, do you do a lot of difference? And he says, you're building the immune system. That's the key. Get that immune system up, get the nutrition up, let the body do what it's supposed to do. Yes, there's some herbs that are more organ specific. Like, let's say for the pancreas, we'll use Genema sylvestre. For the liver, we're going to use milk thistle and dandelion root. For the kidneys, we're going to use corn silk and dandelion root. For the lungs, we're going to be using mullein, and we're going to use lobelia. So we'll go herbal specific for some of those areas, but a lot's the same. And again, it's not a cookie cutter. Ask God what you need to do.
The person, we have a large audience coming to us from Rwanda this morning, and they're requesting that you come back because they need more information about the topic on cancer. That's coming from Celine. Well,
you do good. I don't even try saying their last names.
And we want to just thank Boniface. He's really doing a wonderful job of sharing the link with persons in Rwanda and throughout.
Good.
Yeah, so I know that there are other questions. I saw one here from Daisy. She says, what is good for fever, sore throat for someone who has COVID?
Okay, let's go COVID first. Again, keep that immune system up. You can do everything. Don't get your sleep, have stress, and eat sugar. It will wipe out your immune system. Another thing I'm finding with COVID is rest, because you get frustrated, you want to get back to work. And so you want to jump back as soon as you think you can do it, and you can have a relapse. Give your time resting. Yes, vitamin C is important. The allicin, I like the allicin a lot. I like the Alimed. It's powerful for attacking the COVID. The elderberry, the quercetin, the NAC. A lot of those things are so important. But don't forget the 8 laws of health. That's foundational. You don't do the 8 laws, everything you're doing on the other can be totally undone.
Amen. Thank you. Yeah, NAC. There's one place in Nassau you guys can get the NAC that I know of. I bought it right across the street for those Bahamians who are listening. You can get it from Prescription Parlor. I bought it initially for about, say, $15. When I sent someone else there, it was $8. Just letting you know. It went up that much. That's the value of what we have. What is good for ear infection? What is good
ear
for
infections?
Yes.
Okay. Ear candles are good. Do y'all have ear candles?
I haven't seen it here. No, I don't.
Oh, they work very well.
You would have to call around for ear candles, Merlinda. I don't think so. I've used it. I've never seen it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what you do. You take a teaspoon and put it about 70% full of olive oil. And then take Goldenseal and put Goldenseal in there till it's as thick as possible. The viscosity is still, you're getting as much Goldenseal, but it still drips. But you don't want it too thick. You just don't want it pasty. Then if it's an infant, you do 2 drops. If it's not an infant, up to an adult, 3 drops. Put it in the ear, rub it like you'd rub it down in the dog's ear, and then put heat on there. Now here in the States, we have something that is these hot packs that people use when they go hunting. You put in your pockets. Pop one of those. It'll go 5 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever the specific one is. Put that on the ear. Every 2 hours, put those drops in the ear, rub it down, put that hot pack on, and that's the best thing I have found to get rid of that ear infection. Also remember, we can learn a lot from nature. If a dog gets sick, the dog doesn't eat. It might eat some grass, but it goes on a fast. When you're sick, don't eat a bunch of food. Do a juice fast. Don't eat a lot.
Yes. I have another question coming. I have several questions. I don't know how late you can go. I'm going to just probably take a few more, but let's see what we got. We have, what can be done to clear up an internal abscess at the base of a root of a tooth?
That's a tough one. And most doctors tell you cannot do that. They tell you have to pull the tooth. You have to do a root canal. Never, never, never do a root canal. They're not healthy. And Dr. Let's see here, Chester Clark, a dentist who started Ouachita Hills Academy in college. Dr. Clark found that out. He had done, I think, 3 root canals. And he flew to Knoxville and got all 3 taken out because he says root canals are not healthy. And you know, it's better to just pull the tooth than to have a root canal. What can you do? You can put in an implant or a bridge or whatever, but don't do a root canal. Well, what can you do proactively to try to use? My favorite is Alimed. Do a teaspoon twice a day of Alimed. It's super powerful to get in there to kill that infection. You can do a charcoal poultice. You can swish with the Goldenseal, the myrrh, the Goldenseal myrrh, but the Alimed is super, super powerful. And I'll take and when I make my charcoal poultice, I use it with the psyllium, and I'll make it about the size of this little digit. You can stick it in there, or you can take a charcoal tablet, put that there. But that's my recommendation. And again, don't forget prayer. God does the healing.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Praise God. Another question, well, 2 questions from Africa again on cancer. So you got to come back, Mr. Walt. We thank you so much in advance. It's kind of linked. It says, what are the signs of prostate cancer and what foods can you tell us to eat if we did have prostate cancer?
What part of Africa? Rwanda again?
When someone is cancer, they didn't say. It's Claude and Gasol. They did not say. Yeah. Okay.
One of the challenges when I go to Africa and work in Africa is I like using juicing a lot. And, you know, the availability of a juicer can be challenging in some areas in Africa. But my favorite, if it was prostate cancer, is to juice that person for a nutritional standpoint, where they're doing, 96 to 104 ounces of juice a day, depending on the person's weight. Juicing is going to be your best. When you eat food, a typical meal is going to take 2.5 hours to digest. It takes as much vital force to digest that meal as it does to go to the gym. And if you juice, it's in the blood within 15 to 20 minutes, and you're not having that expenditure of vital force. And so it can go to healing the body. So I'd encourage juicing if they can eat juice, a drink. And also, here's the key: do not drink juice. Does that sounds weird, doesn't it? Don't drink juice, because when you drink juice, you miss 1/3 of digestion. In your mouth, amylase, protease, lipase in the saliva has to soak into the food material. If you just drink and swallow it, you miss the amylase, protease, and lipase getting into the food, and that's your first part of digestion as it goes into the stomach. So don't drink your juice. You want to swallow it, but don't drink your juice. Take it, swish it around your mouth, chew it with your mouth, the juice for about 15, 20 chews, and then swallow it. And that way you allow it to soak up the digestive enzymes, those chainsaws, to then break it down. If not, you miss 1/3 of digestion. The other is I would do the teas. Padiarco, again, I don't know what they have in that part of Africa. You know what? Africans are smart. And when it comes to herbs, I was in Rwanda at the park, and they told, I was with Ambassador Gerald, and they told us, do not step out into the grass because of black mambas. And so I asked the ranger, I walked up to him, I said, do your old men have a remedy for black mambas? And he looked, and he looked, and he goes, yes. And he says, they pick this herb and pick that herb. He said, because he says, if you get bit by a black mamba, you will not live because we're too far from the hospital. But those old men, guess what? You'd live because they have those herbs. So whatever country you're in Africa, wherever you are around the world, talk to your old people, talk to them about those herbs that work. You know, I like Padiarco for prostate cancer. I like black seed oil for prostate cancer. Whether it's available there, I don't know. But the old people can tell you organ specific. And a lot of those people know those answers.
Awesome. We have two other questions, and then I guess we'll have to close. But will
Okay.
you promise to come back and share? Because the people of Africa are asking, they said, today, many people are suffering from cancer disease, and you need to help us. Tell us how important the foods we should avoid. And this is coming from Oscar, everyone there in that part of Africa there, and everywhere around the world. We're all suffering from cancer. That's very common, unfortunately, at this time. And then I have one last question on another platform. So people are listening. Praise God.
Let's go to that cancer question real quick.
Mhm.
When I go to Rwanda and I look at the people in Kigali, when I look at the people in the bush, I see a huge disparity. In 2000, I was asked to go to into Asia, and I saw a big disparity between Kuala Lumpur and the bush. And what is the difference? When I go to Rwanda and I go out into the country, I see people riding their bicycles. I see people, it's amazing. You will not believe this. They will have bananas 8 foot tall on their back of their bicycle, or wood stacked up, and they're walking up a mountain and keeping it balanced, plus they're pushing it up. These people are their endurance is so good. They're fit, they exercise. But then when I go to Kigali, they're riding motorcycles as a taxi. I see their weight getting bigger. They're eating McDonald's, they're eating donuts, they're eating the standard American diet. And as they see fast food coming in, soft drinks coming in. And so as those diets change from the bush to the city, there's more cancer. But another thing that happens is stress. I think stress is one of the major causes of cancer because it kills the immune system. And that's where trusting God comes in. And if there's something that you can't handle, there's nothing you can do about it, don't stress over it. Give it to God, because crying, fretting isn't going to fix it. Give it to God and ask God to take care of it for you. That trusting God is so powerful in preventing cancer. And so, I find that as people move from the bush, they drop exercise. Even though in Rwanda, President Paul is big into exercise. They stretch, they exercise, but still the amount of exercise reduces. What they're drinking, drink healthy drink. Don't drink soft drinks. Okay, this one's a tough one, y'all. You're not going to want to hear it there in Rwanda. When I took nutrition at Cornell University, here's what we learned. And I grew up on a dairy farm. Dairy is the most significant chemical carcinogen ever discovered, according to Cornell University and Cambridge University. And I know that's hard for Rwandans because they love their dairy. I love my dairy. I come off a dairy farm. But dairy, according to Cornell, according to Cambridge, is the most significant chemical carcinogen ever discovered. And so as you're drinking a lot of milk, as you're eating the ice cream, as you're eating the cheese, that increases the probability of getting cancer.
Thank you. I think there are two final questions. They're both weight related. You know, the program that we've been running is a wellness program and weight loss. And so one person wants to know, do you have any suggestions for weight loss supplements that will help to suppress the appetite?
Yes. It's right here. If I walk out to my herb cabinet, I'll see it. I'll think of it as I'm talking here, maybe.
That's fine. And then the other question would be, for weight gain, I think it was. Hold on, let's get it right. Herbs for weight loss. No, herbs for weight loss and herbs for appetite suppressant. Those are the two questions.
The key to weight loss. I lost 50 pounds in 3 months. I was not eating breakfast. I was not eating the noon meal. I just ate when I got home late. Mary Lou says, you got to do something, because my knees were starting to bother me. So she tells me I have to eat breakfast before going to work. She connives with my secretary at work. She calls me on the radio and says, you have your meal in the employee lounge. So now I got to eat the noon meal. She took away my M&M machine in the office. No more Danishes in the afternoons at meetings. But the big one was nothing after 2 o'clock. She didn't feed me supper. And Dr. Coop figured this out. When you eat breakfast, it increases metabolism, you burn calories. When you eat the noon meal, it increases metabolism, you burn calories. Around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, our metabolism turns off. What we eat after that time, we don't get rid of. That is huge. Don't eat supper, just period. Don't eat supper. That's going to be huge. Do your exercise. I find exercise is so important to weight loss. So important. Hang on a sec. I'm going to look at that herb. Hang on a sec.
Okay, no problem. For those of us who are here this morning, what a blessing it has been to have with us Walt Cross. We are really, truly grateful for him spending time with us this morning. I know he's a very busy person. He has already gone 1 hour and a little, so we're going to come to a close. I don't know if there are any final questions. Otherwise, when he comes back, I will just make mention that we do have our health director for the Bahamas conference, South Bahamas conference. She's on our YouTube channel. And so we just want to welcome Sister Nathan Lacroix. She says that country living is highly recommended to live a healthier life. Industrialization is causing so much illness. And then finally from Africa, you know, they're just saying they have a lot of cancer down there. So we will come back. We promise we will come back. Brother Walt will give us hopefully another session. I hope that he gets excited and want to come to the Bahamas. We welcome him here to come and do some live sessions here with us. We have a lot of illness like anywhere else in the world. And we are grateful. Thank you so much. What's the herb?
It's chickweed. I walked up to the counter, and as soon as the counter, boom, there it goes in my head before I even saw it. Chickweed. Chickweed is very, very good as an appetite suppressant. But drink, say, 30 minutes before your meal, because a lot of times dehydration has the same feeling as hunger. The same thing, kind of like a heart attack. If people say, oh, I'm having a heart attack, but it's just indigestion, they both have the same feeling. Well, thirst and hunger have the same feeling many times. And so you're not hungry, you're just thirsty. So drink well, sipping throughout the day. That can help as a hunger suppressant. And if you want to gain weight, avocados, that's not a problem for y'all. And then the other one is take olives, a can of olives, wash it well to get rid of the salt, and split that throughout the day.
Amen. Well, our time's gone for this morning. Rwanda is saying thank you so much from Rwanda, and thank you so much from the Bahamas, from wherever we are. Miss Michelle will close out this morning. Thank you, Mr. Walt. I actually think I met you. I met you when I came to Heartland, and I'm realizing I did come over to the Lifestyle Center when you were there. I realize that now. Yeah. So I hope that we'll meet in person. Otherwise, I am of the belief that we can do virtually anything. So that is why we are here this morning. So blessings, blessings, blessings. They're coming all in the chats all over. So thank you. Miss Michelle, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Cross, for coming this morning. We've been greatly blessed. I'm just so thankful for the ministry of your family. We met 18 years ago when we first came to Heartland, And the work that you did, it was not only you, it was the entire family, Mary Lou, Walt Cross Jr., Carson, I'll never forget Carson. Don't remember your daughter's name is slipping me, but just
Ashley.
amazing family. What's her name again?
Ashley.
Ashley, how could I? I'm seeing her face now. So blessings to you as you continue to minister. Guys, have you noticed that this is not just textbook knowledge? He has experienced firsthand in healing people using, he's preaching and living what what he does. So guys, thank you so much for coming, for supporting us. And we are looking forward to when you come again and say hi to the family. Blessings.
All right, well, let's close out in prayer. Father in heaven, thank you so much for a marvelous morning, an awesome opportunity to learn. And we are so grateful for what you have shared by way of your servant, Brother Walt. And we thank you and we thank him. We ask, Lord, now as we separate and we go our separate ways, cover us, put a hedge of protection around us. Thank you for the work that you have given us to do. And I ask that you'll continue to grant us wisdom as we share in the various parts of the vineyards that you have planted us in. Thank you again for all you've done for us, dear God. We are forever grateful. We are forever blessed by the message this morning. And we ask that you will help us to be saved in your kingdom when you shall come. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. So remember to share the information. You have the link. It's already in our chats. Share with your family and friends. You don't want to keep it. You want to definitely share it. And God bless. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m.